All right, November, National Family Caregivers and National Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. Although we are approaching the end of the month here at CBS 8, we want to make sure that we highlight the challenges that caregivers face while reminding them that their health matters as well. Joining us live to tell us more is Alzheimer's Association champion Larry Greiner and CEO of Healthy Within, Dr. Divya Kakaya. Thanks so much for coming in here, guys. Really appreciate it. Doctor, talk a little bit about Alzheimer's and the impact it can have on caregivers.
My goodness, it's one of these diseases that is so challenging and so all-consuming, and it can creep up on a family in such an insidious way that you don't even realize that there's signs of Alzheimer's showing up. And then when it does come on board, the caregivers become like the primary source of support because it's a memory disease, right? So keep that in mind. And so we have to be present in order to really support our loved ones all the way through, from their activities of daily living all the way through their financial planning. So the caregivers become like the stalwarts of the person who's dealing with the disease.
Absolutely. What are some things we should be on the lookout for?
Well, I think memory pieces are big. You know, there's changes in their routines, things that are going on where they're just, they seem to be forgetting things. That could be one part of it. But just significant changes in their routines, that makes a really big difference as well. And maybe some repeat of conversations. You're talking to them and they're not remembering things, or they keep repeating things. Those are some things that you'd be looking at. And
Larry, you went through this with Mom. Right. I mean, walk us through your perspective as a caregiver. And first of all, I know it's a lot, right? It's a lot to deal with.
A lot's an understatement.
Yeah.
It is an understatement. It definitely, the doctor was referring to, you really don't know what to expect sometimes.
Yeah. Sure.
I think the biggest part for a caregiver, it would be nice to know what to expect if you could get that information out there. And the support you get from the Alzheimer's Association kind of gives you, drives you in that direction.
Okay, good.
But in a lot of cases, you know, every individual is different. Every individual is different. Along with that, every caregiver is different, and the circumstances behind how their caregiving is. Whether or not you have support at home, whether or not you have siblings that help out, or whether or not you are alone. That disease affects the caregiver just as much as it does their loved one.
Yeah.
So those aspects of the stress, the loneliness, and those things that you just don't know until it's upon you are the things that really take a toll.
Well, if someone that maybe a caregiver at home that's having a tough time, what might you suggest?
I think one thing is a community, somebody that can, or somebody that's gone through it. They can empathize with the emotional toll that you're going through. And we call it a roller coaster. It's a journey. It's definitely a journey. And those situations where you have somebody that can talk to that understands what you're going through is the most important thing. They can give you tools, ways how to react to your loved one that has the disease. Also, how, as a caregiver, what can you do to help yourself to not just prepare for the day that's going to come every single day, as we say, it's Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, sure,
but basically, how can you adjust, you know, to your caregiver not knowing your name?
Yeah.
Blame it on the disease.
Yeah.
It is the disease, it's not your loved one.
Tough, yeah. Norma, real quick, we see on your shirt here.
Yeah, that was my mom, and I took care of her for 6+ years back in Baltimore. I just got back to California in June, and I'm starting all over.
Okay.
But it's a continued journey.
It is.
After they're gone, a lot of people don't recognize that even after they're gone, since we've spent so much time with our loved one during that journey, those emotions are still there, and they
I wanted to
recur.
get that website real quick because we're running out of time here, where people can learn more.
Yeah, alz.sandiego.org/.
Okay, that's one way that you can learn more about this and how there is help out there for wonderful caregivers.
Definitely.
Okay, we got to run. We'll take it a quick break. We'll be right back.